There's something about a massive NHL slate that feels like stepping into controlled chaos, the kind of night where every single sheet of ice across the league is telling a different story. When you're staring down a Saturday like this, it becomes more than a board of matchups. It becomes a battleground of trends, traps, momentum swings, and hidden value tucked between lines that look harmless until you dig deeper. And if you've been rocking with us here on Beyond the Box Score, you already know exactly why these breakdowns matter. At this point in the sports world, with the NHL rolling, the NFL hitting midseason form, the NBA heating up, college football in full force, and even college hoops starting to make noise, this is the time of year where one sharp read can swing your entire weekend. This is where edges are built, where momentum snowballs, and where one correct call puts you in the perfect position for everything coming next. But today, it's all about the ice. A 13-game slate on Saturday, November 1, 2025, and after Friday's wraparound went 1-2, with the Ducks' play of the day coming through exactly as expected, we carry that momentum with purpose into the biggest board of the week. So lock in, get comfortable, and let's dive headfirst into the matchups. The night begins at TD Garden where the Boston Bruins take on the Carolina Hurricanes, and this one might be more complicated than it looks on the surface. Carolina still profiles as one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference, a group built for deep playoff runs with the kind of structure that usually travels well. They're coming off a strong 6-2 win over the Islanders, but the bigger picture is still a little murky. They've been playing .500 hockey for weeks, never fully collapsing but never consistently elevating either. Boston, meanwhile, has been quietly building their own momentum with 3 straight home wins. When you take down Buffalo, the Islanders, and especially Colorado in your building, you're doing something right, because beating the Avalanche at home is never a small task for any team. Carolina has taken 3 of the last 4 matchups between these two, but Boston did smash them 5-1 in this building late last season, and historically this matchup tends to swing back and forth rather than lean heavily one way. Even if the Bruins are expected by many to trend downward this season, they're still gritty enough, stubborn enough, and structured enough to drag elite teams into low-event, tightly contested games. With all of that in mind, grabbing Boston plus the goal and a half feels like the right and most responsible way to attack this opener. From there we head to Canada Life Centre for the Jets taking on the Penguins, and this is another spot where the dog deserves real attention. Pittsburgh has been nothing short of a wrecking ball on the puck line, 10-2 overall and a perfect 7-0 on the puck line on the road. Even straight up, they've gone 5-1 away from home. The Jets have been strong at 8-3 overall and a respectable 4-3 on home ice, and they've beaten Pittsburgh 3 straight times. But the bigger picture here is about consistency. The Penguins have consistently cashed tickets on the road, playing competitive hockey in every arena they've stepped into. Whether you take them at plus 1.5 or sprinkle some on the money line, Pittsburgh holds real value here, and this is exactly the type of spot where that road identity shows up again. We move to Bridgestone Arena for Nashville versus Calgary, a matchup that feels like trying to pick between the lesser of 2 headaches. Nashville hasn't exactly inspired confidence this season, but the Flames continue to find more and more creative ways to lose games. Calgary has dropped 10 of their last 11 and their defense, previously their safety net and their most reliable trait, is now cracking wide open. They've allowed 4 or more goals in 4 straight road games. Meanwhile, Nashville has faced a tough run of opponents: Tampa Bay, Dallas, and a road trip to a surprisingly strong Philadelphia team. Calgary's issues aren't temporary trends, they feel systemic, structural, and deeply rooted. Their defense is unstable, their offense remains bottom 6 level like it was last year, and nothing in their profile suggests a sudden turnaround. With Nashville at home and Calgary spiraling, the lean goes clearly to Nashville on the money line. Then it's off to the SAP Center for Sharks versus Avalanche, and while San Jose will absolutely have dog spots this season worth considering, they've already pulled off shocking wins over the Rangers, the Wild, and even the Devils. This just isn't one of those spots. Colorado is likely rolling out Mackenzie Blackwood for his season debut, and that's the perfect spot to use him. The Avalanche have absolutely dominated the Sharks, riding a double-digit win streak filled with multi-goal margins. Colorado owns this matchup on every level. Speed, physicality, depth, special teams, goaltending, you name it. Avalanche puck line is the only logical, sane, or mathematically responsible play. We head to Amirite Bank Arena for Panthers vs. Stars, and this might be the spot where Dallas becomes genuinely live. Florida has dropped 6 of their last 8 games and still looks like a team trying to find its identity without Burov or Tkachuk. Their offense doesn't look synced, their neutral zone play looks inconsistent, and their defensive rotations still feel choppy. Dallas hasn't been scoring much either, just 1 goal in back-to-back games, and their matchups have been trending low scoring across the board. But even with that offensive lull, they're still 3-1 on the road this season. Florida hasn't shown the consistency needed to justify their price, and what we're getting on Dallas here is simply too good to pass up. Stars moneyline is the play. Next up is the matchup in Xfinity Mobile Arena, Flyers vs. Maple Leafs. And even as a lifelong Leafs fan, honesty matters. Philadelphia is playing better hockey right now. They've won 5 of their last 6 and 6 of their last 8, while Toronto can't seem to take any of their home success on the road. The Leafs have dropped road games to Detroit, Buffalo, and Columbus, giving up 5 or more goals in all 3 of those losses. That's not a team with a travel problem, that's a team with a defensive identity problem. Toronto might be more talented, they might be deeper offensively, and they might have more star power. But until they show that they can win on the road and actually defend for more than a period at a time, Philadelphia is the team playing the steadier, more reliable brand of hockey. Flyers at this price is the right side. The Grand Casino Arena hosts Minnesota vs. Vancouver, and there is absolutely no justification for laying juice with the Wild right now. Minnesota has lost 5 straight in 8 of their last 9. Allowing 4 or more goals in all 5 of their recent losses. In that brutal 1-8 stretch, they've allowed 4 or more goals in 7 of 9 games. That's not bad luck, that's a team drowning defensively. Meanwhile, Vancouver has been hovering around .500 over their last 10 games and just picked up a shootout win over St. Louis. The Canucks have also been better on the road than Minnesota has been at home, where the Wild are just 1-3-2. Even if Vancouver isn't steamrolling teams, they're clearly the steadier side. So Vancouver moneyline is the play. Nationwide Arena gives us Blue Jackets vs. Blues, and Columbus has finally started to resemble the scrappy, energizing surprise team they were last season. They've won 3 straight and 5 of their last 6, scoring 15 combined goals during those wins. Meanwhile, St. Louis has lost 6 straight, allowing 4 or more goals in 5 of those games, 28 goals allowed in that span. That's a defensive meltdown. Columbus is only 2-3 at home this season, but their current form is miles ahead of St. Louis, who simply cannot be trusted until they show signs of life. So Blue Jackets moneyline is the clear angle. KeyBank Center brings us Sabres vs. Capitals, with Washington entering the second half of a back-to-back after dropping 1 to the Islanders. They've scored only 2 goals across their last 3 games, riding a 3-game losing streak, but even with that, this sets up as a good bounce-back spot. Charlie Lindgren gave up 7 goals in his last outing, but compared to Buffalo's uncertain and unstable goaltending situation, the Thompson-Lindgren tandem is still the steadier pairing. Buffalo has lost 3 straight games, all by the exact same score, 4-3 in overtime. While those are close losses, they're still losses, and they highlight a team that struggles to close. Washington has the experience, the structure, and the situational advantage here, making Capitals moneyline the play. Bell Center hosts Montreal vs. Ottawa, and Montreal has been one of the biggest early surprises in the league with an 8-3 record. They're 3-1 at home and handled a tough 4-game road trip with real maturity for a young roster. Ottawa has also won 4 of their last 5, so they're not coming in cold. But Montreal took 3 of the 4 meetings last season and their home ice edge still matters. The Senators were significantly better at home than on the road last year, and that trend continues to loom over this matchup. With the price sitting where it is, Montreal moneyline is the move. Crypto.com Arena gives us Kings vs. Devils, and this game comes down to long-term trust. LA keeps finding ways to make things close, but they're still winless at home at 0-2. Their most recent frustration came against Detroit, where they thought they won in overtime only for the goal to be overturned, eventually losing in a shootout. New Jersey, on the other hand, has been one of the hotter teams in the league even though they just dropped back-to-back games to Colorado and San Jose, giving up 13 goals combined. With Jake Allen and Jacob Markstrom in their rotation, the Devils should get a stronger performance in net, and LA still projects as one of the biggest regression candidates in the NHL. Devils moneyline is the play. Climate Pledge Arena gives us Kraken vs. Rangers, one of the toughest reads on the slate. Both teams have been playing solid hockey, Seattle coming off a 4-3 loss to Edmonton and the Rangers putting together back-to-back road wins, including a shutout over Vancouver and a comeback win against the Oilers. Seattle has been strong at home at 3-1, but Igor Shesterkin is often the great equalizer in games like this. New York still looks like the more balanced team overall, and their ceiling feels a little more reliable. The lean goes to the Rangers on the moneyline. And finally, we close the night at Rogers Place with Oilers vs. Blackhawks. Edmonton continues to be one of the NHL's most frustrating teams, dropping 3 of their last 4 and 6 of 9 overall. Every time they show signs of turning a corner, they find a way to collapse, like that 4-3 loss to the Rangers. Meanwhile, Chicago is 9-2 on the puck line, thriving as an underdog and bringing competitive energy into almost every matchup. They've beaten Tampa Bay on the road, battled hard against Florida, and pushed Boston to the limit. They might not be winning a ton of games outright this year, but this team is one of the scrappiest puck line dogs in the entire league. Taking Chicago plus 1.5 makes perfect sense, with a sprinkle on the moneyline if you're feeling bold. That wraps up the entire NHL slate for Saturday, November 1, 2025. If you're rolling with Beyond the Box Score, make sure you smash that like button, drop your NHL picks in the comments, and subscribe so you never miss a daily breakdown. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you soon for more.